Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Learn to Code with Anjali. So today we are going to have our lesson number 2 of the complete course for computer science CBSE board class 12th for the session 21-22. So we did in the last class that what are the various rules for naming your identifiers, for naming the variables, and I gave you a worksheet as well. I hope all of you would have done that. Today we are going to start with another topic which is called precedence of operators, which I gave you an intro in the last class. So we will be doing what all operators we have, how they are evaluated, what is the order of execution, and how to use your if-else statement to check conditions in Python. So that is what we are going to revise today. Before we revise that today, you can subscribe this channel right now because you will be getting everything related to the subject computer science as well as IP for class 12, and moreover later when you go for your BCA, BTech and all that stuff, I will be providing all those courses also over here for your complete studies related to computer science. So do subscribe it right now, and if you want to attend my live classes, you can join me on Unacademy. I'm a plus educator on Unacademy. So this is my profile. If you download Unacademy app or you use Unacademy website, you can search for Anjali Luthra, and here you would be getting a follow button. So click over there to follow me and you can attend my live classes. I do have paid courses. Along with that, I have number of special classes which are free. Anybody can join in. There's a link of Telegram channel in the description given below. So you can join the Telegram channel to attend the live classes. I will be sharing the links over there. This is my code which you have to use once you come for the first time to Unacademy to access any resources. I also have another channel on YouTube that is named as Anjali Luthra again, and that is for computer science programming, IP, CS and other programming languages, but that's in Hindi. So that's my Hindi channel. The link of the channel is there in the description. So go ahead, subscribe it as well, and let's start today's topic. So today's topic is operators. So I gave you a brief intro about the operators, although you have done operators in class 11th. So the operators which you need to do in 12th, which you need to take along with you, are some basic operators, like we have arithmetic operators. These all are coming under the category of binary operators, means the operators which work on two values, right? So we have arithmetic, relational, logical and assignment, right? So let's do all of them one by one. So first category is of arithmetic. Their purpose is to perform certain calculations. So they will be performing some calculations and providing a result after that. The first operator we have in the category of arithmetic is this double star sign, which is also called as exponent, that is number raised to the power another number. So if you write 2 raised to the power 3, it will give me 8. This has the highest precedence. After that, we have star sign, single star sign, which stands for multiplication. We have slash, that is division. We have double slash, that is floor division. And I have percentage, which is modulus sign. Now, this symbol simply multiplies, like you have 3 into 5, you will be getting 15. Now, this single divide, if I have 5 upon 3, so I'm going to get 1.66666, some answer like that. But if you have double slash, then you will be getting 5 double slash 3 is just 1. So this is called integer division or floor division, because what it does, it when it divides, it just removes whatever is after the decimal. So we can call it truncates or just trims or removes whatever you have after decimal. Only the integer part is taken as a result. So your answer will be 1 in this case. Similar way, if you have 12 upon 5, so it will be 2, not 2.4. Similar way, we have this sign which is for remainder. When you are performing this integer division, you also leave some remainder behind. And if you want to get that remainder, we write modulus, that is percentage sign. So it gives me the remainder. For example, if it is 15 mod 5, it will be 0. But if there is a remainder, it will be giving you that remainder. So remainder left after the division. Third level, we have plus and minus, that is add and subtract. Now these are the major 3 levels, that is exponent, these 4 and plus minus. On the top, I can always use parenthesis, that is round brackets, whenever you want to change the precedence. You can use this anytime in the expressions. So these are the set of arithmetic operators you have. Then comes relational. I have greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. For comparison in Python, you have to put double equal to sign. If you want to check whether two values are same or not, they are identical or not, we have to put double equal to sign. And this is your not equal to sign. So this is greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and not equal to. So these symbols are used to check relation between two values, and the answer provided by them is always in the form of true or false. That's why we say that they are used to form Boolean expressions, because the result is Boolean value, which is true or false, right? Then comes logical. In logical, I have not, and, or. The precedence level is the same. We first solve not, then we solve and, then we solve or. So not says that if a condition is true, make it false. If it is false, make it true. So true condition becomes false, false condition becomes true. That is how your not works. And very important are the other two, which is and or, which are used to combine your two conditions. That I'll show you how do we combine. And then this is your one major assignment operator. Then you have all short forms available with us, which we can use. But before we go to them, let's do what and or does. Like I have to check a condition. I have to check, like, you should get above 90 in CS and above 90 in maths to get a particular scholarship or to participate in some competition or some presentation or something like that. So I need both conditions to be true. I want this one to be true as well as this one to be true. So if you want both these conditions to be true, you join them with and. As we normally say in our language, I say I need this and I need this. That means I need both the things. But if I say, if you go to someone's house and they ask you, do you want tea or coffee? So tea or coffee means either you'll have tea or you'll have coffee, right? So we are giving the option that either of them is true, so answer is true. So or says that if any one of them is true, the answer is true. So possibility is, like, if you have ever two conditions with you, you are in a situation where there are two conditions, condition 1 and condition 2. The possibility would be that both the conditions are true, or the possibility is that the first one is true but the second one is false. This one is false, this one is true, or the both conditions given are false. So these are the possibilities we have. Now if you join condition 1 with condition true, you will be getting a true only if both are true. If any of them is false or both of them are false, the condition will be false altogether. But if you have or, it will be true if both are true, it will be true if the first one is true, it will be true if the second one is true, but it will be false if both are false, right? So that's how we combine conditions with the help of and or. Got it? So this is how logical are used. And then finally comes your assignment operator. So we always have the variable on the left hand side. So where you have to put the value is always on the left hand side. The value is always on the right hand side. So value goes like this, right to left. So this value goes in this variable, right? Now we have some shorthands like plus equal to, minus equal to types. So this basically is used if you have to write a is equal to a multiplied by 5 and you're feeling a bit lazy, you don't want to write this whole line. So you can write a multiply equal to 5. It will do the same thing as above. So both these lines will first multiply a with 5. Whatever is the result, that goes back to a. So we multiply them, whatever is the result, we store it in a. That's how this thing works, right? So that is how your shorthands work. And now let's see how do we evaluate. Now in exam, you would be getting a question like this: 5 into 2 divided by 3 plus 8 mod 3, something like that, okay? And if maybe we have a minus also here, something. Now you need to solve this. The question comes evaluate. So you get this question in your board exams for 1 mark. You have to solve it. How would you solve? So before I tell you how we solve, we have to take care of the precedence order. So on the top you have parenthesis, then you have this, then you have these, then plus minus, after that you have these, then not, then and, then or, then equal to, and all its combinations, right? So this pattern you have to remember. Now as out of this, I don't have brackets, I don't have exponent, but I do have multiply, I have divide, I have mod. So whichever comes first will be evaluated first. This is called associativity. So from left to right we are going to check whichever comes first of the same level, that will be evaluated first. So this thing will be evaluated first. I'll write 10 divide 3, 8 mod 3 minus 2. The next step we are going to perform this. So 10 integer division 3 will not be 3 point something, it will be just 3 because we are doing integer division. So 3 plus 8 mod 3 minus 2. Then comes your 8 mod 3. So 3 2s are 6, so remainder will be 2 minus 2. Now plus and minus comes on the next level. Since they are on the next level, again from left whichever comes first will be solved first. So 3 plus 2 comes first, so that will be solved. 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 minus 2, and finally 5 minus 2 is done, and our answer is 3. So that's how you get to the result. So in your answer sheet, be it your UT, be it your half yearly, be it any class test, whenever you solve it, make it a habit to write like this. So don't write only the answer, make it a habit that you solve it this way. Fine, this will always help you not to make a mistake ever, right? So that's how we evaluate these expressions. Evaluation can come for arithmetic expressions like this, or evaluation can also come for a Boolean expression. For example, they might give you 10 greater than 8 and 7 less than 3, or not 7 greater than 4, something like that, or 7 greater than 14. So if I have this thing, how would I solve? The first thing to solve is all the relational operators. So you're going to solve them. 10 greater than 8 is true, and 7 less than 3 is false, or not 7 greater than 14 is false. Now the first thing to be done is the not. So this thing will be solved first. I will get true and false, or not false, that stands for true. Then you have to solve and. So this thing will be solved first. True and false is going to be false, or true is left. False or true is true. So your final answer comes as true. So that's how you have to solve this. So whenever you get certain expressions, be it arithmetic, be it Boolean, always solve it in steps like this. You will never make a mistake. You'll always get the correct answer. So together they form a question of 2 marks, and if you're doing it properly, these 2 marks are yours, right? And this is a question which comes every year, believe me. So one thing is this. Another thing I told you, we will be discussing about checking the conditions. Now you have used if in your class 11th. I know you might have done a number of programs also, but here I'm just brushing it up that why do we use if. So if is a keyword, we write if, then give a space, write down a condition, and you put a colon sign here. After a tab, you can write any number of statements, whatever statements you have given on the indented block is called true block. So whatever statements you have given after the indent will be executed if the condition is true. If the condition is false, it will simply be skipped. If you want to have certain set of conditions to be executed, if the condition is false, you have to write another block of statements at an indent. So now this indented block is false. That means if the condition is true, the upper block will be executed, and if the condition is false, the lower block will be executed. So one of the two will be executed, either this or this, Make sure you write these words in small letters because these are keywords. So if is a keyword, else is a keyword, and you're supposed to write it in small letters, right? So if can be used alone, if can be used with else cannot be used without if. You can use it with for and while though, but without them else is not a standalone statement. It doesn't have any significance of its own unless it is associated with if or for or something like that, right? But we have another scenario where we can have number of conditions. I have 6-7 conditions. I need to check if the first one is true, then do this, and then don't check anything. But if the first one is false, then check the second condition. If that one is false, check the third condition, and so on. So for that we use a thing called elif ladder. So we write a condition, we put a colon, we write down the statements at an indent, and then going back we write elif, no space in between, no complete word else, it is just elif, and then you give a condition again, put a colon, set of statements, elif, again a condition, set of statements, and so on. At the end, if you want, you can have an else, which is not a compulsion at all. So if the condition matches, it will execute this, will not check any of the further conditions. If it is false, then it checks the second one. If it matches, that's it, over. It will not check further conditions. So here, as soon as a matching condition is found, so as I get a matching condition, it will not check further. Is found, no further condition is checked. So last else is executed only when all above conditions are false. Now you would be wondering what kind of question will you get from this in your exam. See, you won't get a direct question based on this. There is a 2-mark question where we have to identify the errors. So we get a question in the exam where they write down a code and they ask us to identify the errors in that. For example, if I have a is equal to 5 and I write if a mod 2 equal to 0, then I write print even, else print odd, something like that, and it is asked that you have to identify the errors. So identify the syntax errors in this. So how would you identify the errors? The first statement seems to be fine. So yeah, this is fine. A mod 2 equal to 0, we have a problem. We don't have a variable with capital A, it is small a. So this should have been small a. We don't compare with single equal to, so there we should have a double equal to sign. Then we don't have capital E, it should be small, and you must have a colon after this. So at certain places you might use if else. Moreover, when you will get further questions to code, there you might be needing conditions, but straightforward on if you will not be getting any question as such, right? So direct question will not be there. As I told you, a direct question on identifiers, I told you direct questions on evaluation, but we won't be having a direct question based on if else like that. But it would be used at places in your code, in the error finding, in the output questions. So it can be used there, which is like 50-50%. It can be there, it cannot be there, but you should know what is their purpose. And you have done a number of programs in class 11th, like to find grade of a student, to check if a year is leap or not, right? So many programs you have done. I hope you all must have done that. Fine. So that is it, what you need to remember about if in class 12th. And now is the time for your worksheet. So what you are going to do, you are going to evaluate these. So your first question is, Okay, so these are the four questions. This is your homework. So you must solve these 4 questions. Write the answer in the comments below, right? And that is it for today's lesson. I hope you must have understood everything what I've told here. If yes, do click the like button, subscribe the channel in case you haven't subscribed yet, and do share it to reach to maximum people so that I can provide you maximum content on this channel. Thanks for watching. By the time I upload more, keep watching, keep learning.